Welcome. We want to consider an example of the algebra of functions. In this case, we're working with f of x is x cubed minus 1, and g of x is x plus 3. Now, when we talk about the algebra of functions, we're talking about combining functions using arithmetic, essentially, right? That of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We recall then, if we wanted to evaluate f plus g of 2, that this is defined to be f of 2 plus g of 2. Of course, f of 2 and g of 2 I can evaluate. That's no problem. If I wanted to plug them in, I could write that as 2 cubed minus 1. That is f of 2. And g of 2 is 2 plus 3. 2 cubed is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. 2 plus 3 is 5. This gives us 12. So that looks good. If I wanted to evaluate f times g of negative 1, I would first recall that this is defined to be f of negative 1 times g of negative 1. F of negative 1 would be negative 1 cubed, but the negative 1 in parentheses, so that way I remember that the negative is attached to the 1 and not a coefficient on 1 cubed. We'll subtract 1 after that, and then g of negative 1, double check on our function g, that is x plus 3, so I need negative 1 plus 3. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative 1 minus 1 is a negative 2. Negative 1 plus 3 is going to give us a positive 2. And negative 2 times positive 2 gives us a negative 4. Again, that looks good. Now, what if I wanted f divided by g of negative 3? Well, similarly here, this is going to be, if we wanted to interpret it or write it a little bit differently, we could write this as f divided by g of negative 3. That's not the definition. That's just a different way to write division. So here, then, I would say that this is f of negative 3 divided by g of negative 3, and that is our definition of the division function. F of negative 3 is going to be negative 3 being raised to the third power, and subtract 1. G of negative 3 is going to be that negative 3 plus 3. But of course, we observe a problem here. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, and any number divided by 0 is going to be undefined. Even if it's 0 divided by 0, that's still undefined for division by 0. So we would say that f divided by g of negative 3 is undefined. The issue here is that plugging in negative 3 again causes that division by 0. So although we can plug negative 3 into f and we can plug negative 3 into g without any concern, we cannot divide by g of negative 3 because that's 0. So when we talk about the domain of the combining of functions or the algebra of functions, the domain of the sum, difference, product, or quotient, most of the time we can say, well, whatever we can plug into both f and g is fine. But in the case of division, we also want to remove those points, which would cause division by 0.